Hi, this is JJ Barnes and you are watching another episode of Creative Writing for Kids. Today I'm going to be talking to you about something called a time lock. So a time lock is when your character is motivated and they're going for what they want and they're working for it, which is the whole point of your story. But if they don't achieve it or get what it is they want by a certain deadline, they'll never get to do it. So when you add a time lock to your story, it's drama, it's tension, it's excitement, it's pressure on your character, and it means that your story will move forwards powerfully because they have to rush. They have to get it by a certain time or they're never going to get to do it. And it's just a really good way of adding excitement. So the stories that naturally have a time lock that works well are sports stories. So there's a big game. So your character has to get good at that sport in order to win the match and get the trophy. Or competition stories where, say, you've got a character who has to learn to dance by a certain point or they're never going to win the competition for the dancing. So things like that have a natural time lock because there is a deadline. The deadline is built into how you are telling that story. But you can add a time lock to other kinds of stories. You can add a time lock in magical stories when, say, a spell has to be done when the moon is in a certain position. And if they can't get the spell done by that point to save the world or save somebody's life or create some kind of beautiful and wonderful magic, if they can't do it by the time the moon is in that position, that's it. The spell can't happen and that thing will just never work. And it just means that they are pushed and pushed and pushed, and having your characters having to fight and push themselves to get what it is they want is really interesting. Because if it doesn't matter, and if they can just, oh, well, I can do this anytime, and I can get this whenever I feel like it, it's a bit meh. Your story's just, oh, alright, so they can just do this whenever they want to, it's not a big deal. And if your story feels like it's not a big deal, then your story's not a big deal. But adding a time lock is a really good and effective way of making your story feel like a big deal because of the pressure and the intensity that comes with pressure, like needing to get something done by a certain point. If you think about when you have an exam or a test at school, that's pressure. You have to learn that information. You have to learn it by that point or you'll fail. So it feels more important. The thing you have to learn for that exam or test feels a lot more important than things that you don't have to learn. Because you don't have to, it's good to know it, but it doesn't matter so much. The things you have to learn for the test, that is what matters. And that's what a time lock does for your story. It tells you that this story right now, this conflict, this stuff that's happening to that character really matters. So try adding a time lock to your story. See what you can come up with. There's all sorts of ways to do it. Competitions, deadlines, moon phases are just one kind. And you can just find your own way. I'd love to hear how you're doing it. I put a time lock into Lily Prosper and the Magic Rabbit because I said that there was a final gathering when something very important was going to happen and Lily had to find out what it was and if it was a good thing or a bad thing. And she couldn't leave it and find out another time because it was coming and she knew it was coming. She had to find out now. So it was dramatic and tense and exciting for her. And hopefully for you when you read it. But that's the point. You feel the excitement as well as the character. And that makes it a really good story. So thank you very much for watching another episode of Creative Writing for Kids. Don't forget to subscribe and I can keep growing my channel and hopefully bringing you more writing advice. You can also go to my website, which is www.jjbarnes.co.uk. And over there I'm putting loads of writing games, loads of story tips, activities to get your imagination growing. There's also a link to the Pinterest boards. If you or your mums and dads or whoever are on Pinterest, you can find even more activities there and follow me over there. And if you're posting activities and writing things, we can share each other's stuff, and that's always a good thing to do. I'm also on Facebook. It's Creative Writing for Kids with JJ Barnes. And if you go over there, you can show me what you're doing and talk to me and see what I'm getting up to, and that's always a lot of fun. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be back again soon with some more writing advice to help you become a better and more confident storyteller. Thank you very much. Bye.